why millions of ordinary people are rejecting the establishment and voting for national populist parties. Hi guys, Matt Goodwin. Welcome to GBNews. Now, Donald Trump has not just won the White House, but he's won every level of the political system in America, which has left lots of people scratching their heads. I remember in 2016 when a certain somebody named Hillary Clinton was so shocked by the first election victory of Donald Trump that she sat down to write a book called What Happened. And when I got to the end of that book, I realized that she still didn't know what happened. And it's the same today. If you look at our political, media and cultural class, they are all lost, bewildered and confused as to why so many people have voted for Donald Trump, propelling him back into the White House. And it's the same story here in Europe, where lots of elites are looking at why millions of ordinary people are rejecting the establishment and voting for national populist parties, from Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella in France, to Giorgia Meloni in Italy, to the Sweden Democrats and Geert Wilders in the Netherlands, and Nigel Farage and the Reform Party in Britain. Well, the answer is that Western democracies are going through a political realignment. The foundations of politics are now radically and rapidly being reshaped before our eyes. And to make sense of this, you really need to take a step back to make sense of how the foundations of politics in the West are really beginning to change. Because decades ago, politics was really organized around economics, around the left-right divide between those who favored the state and redistribution and those who favored the free markets. But as we entered the 2000s, politics increasingly became two-dimensional. It wasn't just about the economy. It was now as much, if not more, about culture and identity, as questions and debates around things like mass immigration, border security, woke ideology, protecting the nation state, protecting the national community became much more important to voters. Now, the old parties, the liberal establishment, failed to make sense of this shift. And even worse, they berated, dismissed and insulted millions of voters along the way. They called them bigots. They called them the deplorables. They called them garbage. They called them cranks. They called them MAGA extremists. And all of this really left a coalition of working class voters, of voters who have often not passed through the elite universities, who come from the small towns, who come from the coastal communities, from rural areas, and who hold culturally conservative values, who want to lower immigration, who want to protect their borders, who want to push back against an unresponsive elite that now dominates almost all of the most important and influential institutions in society. And they said, we've had enough. And so increasingly, as Western democracies passed through the first 2 decades of the 21st century, you began to see the likes of Donald Trump, of Nigel Farage, of Marine Le Pen, of Alternative for Germany, of Giorgia Meloni and others beginning to pick up more and more support. And liberals didn't understand what was going on. So they smothered themselves in comfort blankets and they said this was actually just about angry old white men who would soon fade over the horizon and be replaced by a new liberal, diverse majority. But as we can see with Trump's second election victory in 2024, things could not be further from that picture. Donald Trump has not only now doubled down on the realignment that first brought him to power in 2016, but crucially, he has expanded that realignment. He's done even better among Latino and Hispanic voters. In fact, winning over more than half of Hispanic and Latino men. He's done better among African American voters than he did 8 years ago. He's done better among young voters from Gen Z, particularly young men who are fed up with being told that there's something wrong about being a young man. And in that way, he's expanded his electoral coalition. He's widened his reach and he's taken control of every lever of the political system in America. Now, I think the same thing is about to happen in Europe. If you look at what's going to happen in Germany at the beginning of 2025, where there are federal elections, again, the Alternative for Germany, the national populists, are among the most popular political force among young Germans, especially young German men in the eastern half of the country. In Italy and France, there is no age divide in support for the likes of Giorgia Meloni and Marine Le Pen. They're drawing as much support from the young as the old. And what all of this is telling us is that while liberals say populism has peaked, or that it's just a refuge for old white men, in reality, this movement has plenty more gas in the tank. It has plenty of space to grow and evolve so long as liberals refuse to deal with the underlying reasons why people are voting for these movements to begin with. They want less immigration. They want a smaller state. They want controlled and strong national borders. And they want a serious pushback against radical woke ideology. They don't want little boys being told that they should become little girls. They don't want little girls being told that they should become little boys. And they don't want to continuously be told by a morally righteous, virtue signaling elite that there's something wrong with coming from the country they love, that there's something to be ashamed of when it comes to their history and traditions, that their nations are institutionally racist, or that they should apologize for being who they are. People have had enough of this. They don't want to repudiate their national culture, their history, and their heritage. They want to embrace and celebrate those things which make them who they are. So make no mistake, the realignment that began in the early 2000s, which is now maturing with the second victory of Donald Trump and the rise of national populists across Europe, is only going to accelerate so long as the liberal establishment continue to refuse to address the reasons why so many people out there are so utterly fed up with the elite consensus that we can see in our failing societies all around us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I'll see you soon.
Using the internet without a VPN is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. We want to help protect you. This video's sponsor, Private Internet Access, is the VPN to help keep you safe. Now you might be asking, what is a VPN? Well, a virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel. This way, it shields your digital life from the eyes of those that are looking to exploit your private information. Whenever you connect to the internet on a public Wi-Fi network, such as at airports, coffee shops, friends' houses, or even in your own home, your data is at risk of being stolen. Hackers that are connected to the same Wi-Fi network have the ability to steal your personal data with ease. T-Mobile reached a settlement this year with the US Federal Communications Commission after they suffered data breaches in 2021, 22, and 23. In 2023 alone, over 37 million customers' data was exposed. And it's not just hackers to be concerned about. Information can be censored. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news content that you love. Private Internet Access is available for all platforms: Windows, macOS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one Private Internet Access subscription to protect an unlimited number of devices at the same time. Plus, we've got a huge GBNews discount. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get 83% off PIA. That is under £2 a month, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free. There's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. So head to piavpn.com/GBNews to start protecting yourself digitally today.